All right, we got the recorder going for our online students. We're on page 101. Going to walk through the practice test for chapter 2. And the practice test stops at problem 20 because we didn't cover topic 2.5. So the first question on the test is, which of the following descriptions define a set? And remember, when it says define a set, I put that in quotes. That means a well-defined set. That is, we all agree. So would we all agree on brilliant students? No. On students with math SAT scores over 400, if you could go over and check, we would all agree on that one. C, natural numbers greater than 5? Yes. And then natural numbers less than 1. Here you go. Yeah, we would all agree, wouldn't we? Because how do you naturally count things? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's the set of natural numbers less than 1? There's nothing in it, so it's called what?
Empty set.
Empty set. And we would all agree with that, wouldn't we? So, which one of these are on page 101, question 1 on the practice test? Which one of these descriptions define a set? And define a set is the operative phrase where it has to be well defined. That is, we would all agree. What would be the answer?
B, C, and D.
B, C, and D. Okay? Question 2. List, there's the operative word, list the elements of the set. Can all of you read what it's asking there? And if you can't, write this down. The set of all x's such that x is a counting number between 2 and 10. And what are the counting numbers between 2 and 10? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've just listed them out here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And put a brace, whatever it is around there. Brackets, is that what it's called? I can never remember the right name for these little things. They're just cute, but I can't remember what they're called. Number 3. Now, what if it would have said x such that x is a counting number between 2 and 10 inclusive? What if they would have put the word inclusive in there? Then it would have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 because it would include 2 and 10. So watch for the words. Read the words carefully when you're taking the test. Number 3 on page 101, chapter 2 practice test. Describe the following sets verbally and in set builder notation. Verbally is just in words. And I'm looking at 3B. The set of even counting numbers less than 10. And in set builder notation, it would be the set of all x's such that x is an even counting number. And I just used the symbolism less than 10. If you had the words less than 10, it would still be correct. Okay? You ready for number 4?
Is there 2 parts to question 3?
What?
There's 2 parts to question 3?
Yeah, I'll let you do that other one on your own.
Okay.
I gotta leave something for you to do for homework, don't I? Okay, so number 4. Number 4 says, list all the proper subsets of the set dollar sign, cent sign, percent sign. Now, if it would have said list all the subsets, then I would have dollar, cent, percent. You understand? I would have that set, then I would have all the sets with 2 in them, and all the sets with 1 in them, and empty sets. If it said list all the subsets. If it said list all the proper subsets. Do you know what it means to be proper? To hold your little pinky out when you're drinking tea? Well, in math, proper means it doesn't include the set itself. So the proper subsets would be all of these and empty set. So here's where some people will get caught. If the question says all the subsets, you'll be so fixated on the test question that you'll leave that one off that should be included. If it says proper subsets, then you might be inclined to include that one because you're not clear on what proper means. So make sure you understand the distinction. And the other mistake that people often make is they'll pick one of the answers that doesn't have empty set in it. Because empty set is always one of the subsets of every set. Number 5. Put is an element of or is not an element of in each of these 4 sentences. Now, A union B. If I draw a picture of the union of A and B, isn't that what it looks like? A and B colored in? I'll just do a little red stuff here. Isn't that what it would look like? The union of A and B would be A and B colored in. Now, if A and B are colored in, then what would I put in here in the blank spot? X, the set of all X is such that X is, I'm either going to say is an element of, boy, that's a big mark, isn't it? How did that happen? Is an element of or is not an element of. Maybe I need to go to a smaller one here. Let's try that one. Yeah, let's do that one. Okay, let's see what happens. Well, that's still pretty big. All right. So what goes in here? X such that X is an element of A or X is an element of B. So you put is an element of and is an element of. I sure don't like that. Let's see if I can fix that one. There. All right. See if that works a little better. Yeah, now I can read it a little better. An element of or not an element of. So X is an element of A or X is an element of B. Now let's go to the next one. A intersect B prime, the complement of B. So I come over here to here's A. And where does it intersect? B prime. That would be everything outside of B. Everybody agree? So where does the red and the green overlap? Let's color it with black. That would be this little area right there. Everybody see that? That's where the red and the green overlap. That's what intersection is. Okay? Now that I've got a picture of it, what goes in here? X is an element. So I would put X as an element of A. Agreed? What about X and B? Is X an element of B? So it's not an element of B. See what happens? I draw the picture, then I use that to fill in the information. C, the complement of A. Okay, what would the complement of A look like? Let's go to blue. That would be everything outside of A, wouldn't it? That's the complement of A. Remember, watch for that little mark up there, that apostrophe. The complement of A. So now there's the picture of the complement of A. How would I, who asked for that? How would I designate that with putting over here element or not an element? Is X an element of the universe? Yes. Is X an element of A? So it's not an element of A. Everybody follow what's going on? A picture is worth 1,000 words. D, A minus B. So I come over here, and here's A, but I subtract B. So when I subtract B, that means didn't work. Well, I tried it just for fun. Here's A, here's B. What that means is I subtract all of this from A. So what am I left with for the blue? I thought that was blue. There it is. I'm left with all of this out here. Everybody see that? That's A minus B. So what do I put in the empty spaces? X is an element of A, and X is, now where's B prime? Change that to red. Where's B prime? Everything outside of B. And since it says and, that would be intersection. Everybody follow that? So where do the red marks and the blue area overlap? Right there in that little area where we've talked about. So X would be an element of A, and X would be an element of the complement of B. Everybody see that? That's probably as tough as it gets. Maybe not. We'll see what problem 6 says. What does problem 6 say? Let the universe be ace, king, queen, ace, king, queen, jack. You say, why'd you write them like that? Because look what it says A is. A is ace, queen, jack, and B is king and queen. So the intersection of A and B is queen. Everybody see that? See, I draw my picture and say, okay, here's A, ace, jack, queen. I could have probably, when I drew it, I could have put queen out here. And then over here, B is king and queen. And then I'm going, wait a minute. Queen and queen, that means that's common to both. So that's the intersection. So I'll just erase this and erase this, you follow me? And put queen right there in the intersection to kind of clean the picture up and make it look pretty. So now I've got a picture drawn, and here's my universe. Better put that with red too. There's my universe. So now I've got my picture drawn. Now I can answer the questions. A, what's the complement of A? I take my thumb and cover up A, and what do I see outside of A? King. Everybody follow that? B, what's the union of A and B? Put A and B together, and what do you get? Ace, jack, queen, king. Everybody follow that? When you put the union together? So now what's the complement of ace, jack, king, queen?
Empty set.
Empty set. Good. Excellent. Everybody follow that? Because when you cover all that up, there's nothing left, so that's empty set. C, what's the intersection of A and B? What do A and B have in common?
Queen.
Queen. Okay, let's get to the messy one. D. The universe minus the complement of the intersection of A and B. Okay, what's the intersection of A and B? Queen. Everybody agree? What's the universe? All that stuff. Everybody agree? What's the complement? Let's change colors here. What's the complement of queen? Ace, king, jack. Everybody follow that? The complement of something is everything in the universe except that something. Everybody follow that? And the something we're looking at was queen, so the complement of queen would be ace, king, jack. So now what's the universe minus ace, king, jack? Queen. So the answer is queen. Does that match the one in the book for 6D? Good. It's nice that we did it correctly here in class. Number 7. What does 7 say? If in addition to the sets in problem 6, you add C with ace jack in it. So I've just taken problem 6, the picture from problem 6, and made it bigger and made a third circle called C, and C has ace jack in it. So ace jack is now moved to the intersection of A and C. If ace jack is in A and ace jack is in C, then I would put it here in the intersection. Everybody follow that thinking? I didn't ask for that. Right there. And is that all that's in C for number 7? So here's what my picture looks like. I've got A is ace, jack, queen. B is king and queen. And C is ace and jack. Everyone see how I drew that picture from the information in problem 6 and 7? Okay, now I've got the picture. Let's work the problems. What's the intersection of A and B? Where do A and B intersect? Queen. And what's in C? Ace jack. What's the union of queen and ace jack? Queen, ace jack. Or probably the answer book's going to say what? Put it in order. Ace, jack, queen. Doesn't matter what order it's in, it still means the same thing. Everybody follow that? So let's do B. What's the complement of A? Take your thumb and cover up A. And what do you see? K. Everybody agree? What's C? Ace jack. What's the union of those two? King, ace, jack. Union, put them both together, unite them. Everybody follow what I did here for the first part of problem B? So let's go over to the other part. What's B? B is king, queen. And what's the intersection of this and this?
King.
King. Everybody follow that? You feel empowered? You feel ready for this test? Well, you have between now and Wednesday to review your notes, to look at these questions again. And actually, we go through it in class. It probably wouldn't hurt to go through it on your own sometime tomorrow, just to get your mind ready for the test on Wednesday morning. Number 8. I'd sure like to know why that keeps jumping up there at me. Draw a pair of Venn diagrams to show A minus B equals A intersect the complement of B. Well, how do I do A minus B? Well, I draw A and I have B, and then A minus B would be everything in A minus the stuff in B. Everybody agree that that's the picture of A minus B? So, what's the intersection of A? Okay, here's A. Let's change colors here. Here's A. And let's use blue for the complement of B. That would be everything outside of B. Now, where do the green and the blue intersect? Right here. Everybody agree? So that's the intersection, and that looks just like the other picture. Number 9. Draw a Venn diagram to illustrate A intersect B intersect, and sometimes it's good just to circle that so you don't overlook that complement. Well, what's A intersect B? Wouldn't that be all of this right here? Everybody agree? And where does that intersect? Whoops. Where does that intersect with the complement of C? What's the complement of C? Everything out here. Where does the red and the green overlap? Right there. Whoops, I need to blacken it. Right there. Everybody see that? Now on the test, what'll happen is it'll have a statement like this, and then it'll have like 4 pictures, and you pick which picture. So what you really do is be careful. Have you figured this out already for multiple choice test? Don't just look at them and pick one that looks right. Work the problem and then look at those to see which one matches your answer. Number 10. Find the sets of numbered regions in the diagram at the left that represent the following sets. And I didn't put it up here on the screen because you've got it right there in your book. So you look at that picture, and what's the first thing I'm supposed to do? A says the union of A and B. Okay, if I put A and B together, what numbers do I get? 1, 4, 7, 5, 2, 6. See where I got 1, 4, 7, 5, 2, 6 for the union of A and B? Everybody see that? And what's the complement? Here we are again. What's the complement of C? Cover up C with my finger, and what's left? 1, 5, 2, 8. Everybody see that? When I put my finger over C, the complement of C is 1, 5, 2, 8. Don't forget that 8 down in the corner. Then it says, what's the intersection of these two? Well, there's a 1 and a 5 and a 2, and that's it. So the intersection is the set whose elements are 1, 5, 2. Everybody follow that? Okay, now you don't see the whole thing at once. We did the A union B part. Did everybody see that, what I've underlined in red? You got that? Then we did the complement of C in blue. You see where we got that? 1, 5, 2, 8. Then we say, what's the intersection of those two sets? What's common to both sets? And there it is right there. 1, 5, and 2. Okay? It's a three-part. You don't look at the problem and just see the answer. It's a 1, 2, 3-part process. It's really like doing 3 problems in one. I know that doesn't seem fair to some of you. Math should be quicker than that, but it isn't. So just deal with it. 10b. So what does 10b say? Let's go back to red. What's the complement of A? Put my finger on A, cover up A, and what numbers do I see? 3, 6, 2, 8. Everybody see that? And I just write them down there. 3, 6, 2, 8. Then I come over to this side and say, what's the intersection of the complement of B and C? Whoa, that's, you understand? That's too much for me to do. So I go, okay, what's the complement of B? Cover up B with my finger, and what numbers do I see? 1, 4, 3, 8. Everybody follow that? Cover up B, and I see 1, 4, 3, 8. And then what's C? What are the numbers in C? 3, 4, 7, 6. And what is this? Intersection. Where do those two sets intersect? Let's see. They have a 3 in them and a 4 in both of them. And that's it. So there's the intersection. So now watch what I have. I'll change to whatever color this is. I have this. No, let's just go to blue. Yeah. I have this and the union with this. See what I've done? I've actually worked A complement, then I've done B complement, then I've done C, then I've done the intersection of B and C. That's 4 problems. Now I'm doing the 5th big part where I'm saying here's A complement, union, all of that stuff. And what happens when I unite those? That means I go 3, 6, 2, 8, 3, 6, 2, 8, and the 4. And there's the answer. The final answer to problem 10. Number 11. Use the numbered regions. We're doing the same thing. That same picture again. To verify that all of this equals all of this. So what's the intersection of A and B?
5 and 7.
5 and 7. What's C? 3, 4, 7, 6. What's the union of those two? 5, 7, 3, 4, 6. Everybody follow that? Did I go too fast? Okay, let's do the other side. What's the union of A and C? A and C. 1, 4, 7, 5, 3, 6. What's the union of B and C? B and C. 5, 7, 6, 2, 3, 4. What's the intersection? Better change colors here. What's the intersection of those two? Let's see. There's a 4 in both of them. There's a 7 in both of them. There's a 5 in both of them. There's a 3 in both of them. So what's the intersection? 4, 7, 5, 3, 6. Does this? Do these two sets match? 4, 7, 5, 3, 6. Yes, they do. Number 12. Use the numbered region. We're using the same picture again. Use the numbered region to verify that the complement, okay, what's the intersection of A and B? 5 and 7. Everybody follow that? The intersection of A and B is 5 and 7. Now, what's the complement of the set 5 and 7? Take 5 and 7 out, and what are you left with? 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 8. 1, 4, 3, 6, 2, 8. You follow that? Now, let's see if that matches. What's the complement of A? Put your finger on A, and what's left? 2, 6, 3, 8. What's the complement of B? Put your finger on B, and what's left? 1, 4, 3, 8. What's the union of those two? Everything that's in there. 3, 6, 2, 8, 4, 1. Do those two match? 3, 6, 2, 8, 4, 1. Sure enough. Number 13. Refer to the diagram of problem 10 and determine which of the following sets represent the region excuse me, 5, 6, 7. So here's what's going on. I'm looking for region 5, 6, 7 to be my answer, and I have to turn the page back to look at the picture to work the problem. So for problem A, what's B? Look at the picture on page 101. What's B? 5, 7, 6, 2. What's the union of A and C? A and C. Don't go A and B, go A and C. 1, 4, 5, 7, 3, 6. And what's B minus this? Okay, there's a 5 here, so I take the 5 away. There's a 7 here, so I take the 7 away. There's a 6 here, so I take the 6 away. And what am I left with? B minus A is 2. Everybody follow that? Region 2. Does that match region 5, 6, 7? Nope. So A is not the answer. So we go to B. You go, what? Yeah, we just work all 4 problems till we find the one that matches. What's the union of A and C? A and C. 1, 4, 7, 5, 3, 6. What's B? B, 2, 6, 7, 5. What's the intersection of those two? Let's see. There's a 5 and a 7 and a 6. So I go 5, 7, 6. Wait a minute. That was my answer, wasn't it? That was what I was looking for. So I don't have to work the last two because I found it. I just keep going till I find the region that they're asking me to look for. And so my answer is B. Isn't that what they ask? Refer the diagram and determine which of the following, A, B, C, or D, is represented by regions 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going, it's B, because I just worked it and found it. And if that wouldn't have been B, then I would have gone on to work C. And if it wouldn't have been C, I would have gone on to work D. Well, look at problem 14. That's disgusting. So we're just going to skip it, because there won't be one like that on the test. So now, watch. Problem 14 says, which one of these, A, B, C, or D, represents region 6 and 7? And what's the answer for problem 14? What? None of these. You just asked me to work 4 problems and none of them are the answer? That's disgusting. I'm just not going to do it. And there won't be one of those on the test. Very rarely. We'll eventually have a test where none of these will be the correct answer, but it won't be on this test. So don't be too quick to check none of these. You probably made a mistake in your computations. So we'll just skip 14 and go on to 15. Because you see the strategy, don't you? You work each of the problems till you find the region that matches. And then when I start doing it and I find out none of the regions match, I'm going, I can't believe you did that to me. I did all that work. I should have found an answer. So I'm just going to skip it and go on to 15. Let the universe be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let A be 1, 3, 5, 7. And let B be 2, 4, 6, 8. And let C be 1, 4, 5, 8. So do you see where C is 1, 5, 4, 8? And B is 2, 4, 6, 8. And why did I write them like that? Because 4 and 8 are in both B and C. You follow why I drew my picture like I did? Now, when I was first drawing this picture, it looked a little messy. But you understand that it can be a little messy till you get to your final picture. And then when it looked at A is 1, 3, 5, 7. A is 1, 3, 5, 7. Why did I do it like that? Because 1 and 5 are in both A and C. And then I went back and looked at the universe and said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's nothing to put out here. You follow me? There's nothing to put out there that's in the universe that isn't in one of these 3 circles. So now I've got my picture drawn. Now I can work the problem. What's A say? Okay, what's the union of A and C? Put A and C together, and what do you get?
1 and 5.
3, 7, 1, 5. That would be 1 and 5 is intersection. See, now keep that straight. Write yourself a note and say, don't confuse intersection and union. The union is 3, 7, 1, 5, 4, 8. Everybody agree? Those are the numbers. Those are the elements of the union. Now watch what question A asks. What's the number of elements in the union of A and C? How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the answer is 6. Okay, guess what's going to happen on the test? It's a multiple choice test. He's going to have another answer for the number of the union of A and C. And here's what he's going to have. He's going to have 7 plus 3, 18, 19, 21, 22, 27. He's going to have 28 as one of the choices. You know why? He's messing with your head. When it says the number of elements in this set, does that mean add all those numbers together? No. It means tell me how many elements are in that set. I mean, they're using numbers here, but they could have just as easily been using letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So when you see that number out in front, it wants to know how many elements are in the union of those two sets. So keep that straight when you take the test. What's 15b say? The number of elements in the intersection of B and C. Where do B and C intersect?
Intersect with 4.
Here's B, here's C. The intersection is 4, 8. And what's the answer for the number of elements in the intersection?
2.
2. What other answer will he have on the test to mess with you?
12.
12. He'll put 12 up there, and some of you are going, 12? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, 4 and 8's 12. That must be the correct answer. So don't let him do that to you. And math multiple choice tests do that all the time. So just learn how to take these math multiple choice tests. Don't let them mess with you. Number 16. What's it say? The number of elements in A is 25. The number of elements in B is 35. Find the number of elements, find the number of elements in A union B if the intersection of A and B is empty set. Well, that means they don't intersect, doesn't it? So, what would be the union of A and B? 25 and 35 would add up to 60. You go, wait a minute, now you're adding the numbers. Yeah, because remember, it said the number of elements in A has 25 elements in it. See, now they're giving you the number of elements. The number of elements in B has 35 elements in it. That would be like the numerals 1 through 35. You follow me? And what if and find the union if the intersection is empty set. So I draw a picture of the two not intersecting. Now watch what I do for B. If the intersection, the number of elements in the intersection is 5. Well, now I draw a picture that says, okay, if the number of elements in the intersection is 5, then I put 5 elements where they intersect, right? Now, how many elements were in A? 25. Agreed? Well, if 5 are here, then how many go out here? 20 to make the 25. And how many elements were in B? The number of elements in B? 35. But if 5 are in here, then how many go out here? 30. Everybody follow what we're doing? So now, what am I supposed to find? Oh, find the union. So now I'm supposed to find the number of elements in the union of A and B. So that would be 20 plus 5 plus 30. And that would be an answer of 55. Okay? Number 17. The number of elements in A is 15. The number of elements in B is 25. The number of elements in the union of A and B is 35. Wait a minute. If I put 15 here and 25 here, what's 15 plus 25? 40. And they just said the number of elements in A union B is 35. So I have to subtract 35 from that 40, because I've got 5 too many. And guess where those 5 go? Right there. Now, if I put 5 of these here, then 15 becomes what? 10. And 25 becomes 20. And now watch. The number of elements in the union of A and B is 35. What's 10 plus 5 plus 20? Now I've got my picture right. 35. Now, what do they want me to find? The number of elements in the intersection of A and B. And what is it? It's that number 5 that I found doing all this work over here. That one's giving somebody a headache. I can tell by the looks on your faces. Number 18.
But wouldn't, since there's the n in front of that, wouldn't it be asking for just the number of elements?
And how many elements are in the intersection where A and B overlap?
1.
5.
But isn't that just one element?
No, because see, what did it say? These are all, they're giving me the number of elements.
Oh, I see.
Good. So that's why look at that n. When you see that n in front of it, that changes the way you work with it. Number 18. Good question. Number 18 says, in the diagram at the left, the rectangular region, the part that's shaded there, here's a circle, here's another circle, and they shaded in this part right here. And this is A, and this is B. So what is that? Well, that's B minus A, right? That's B, and take away what was in A. Or you could say, if you like doing complements, here's A, here's B, here's the complement of A, and here's B, and where do those two intersect? Right there. Everybody see that? So you could describe it either way. Number 19. What does number 19 say? On checking with 200 students. Now, when I work problem 19, the first thing I do is take all that information that's there in that paragraph and I write it all out down here. I just make a list, and then after I get my list, where do I start? Down at the bottom and work up. Remember that? Change that to red. Start at the bottom and work up. So 70 are out here taking nothing. 15 have both G and S. 30 have both F and S. 10 have F and G. Why didn't I put that in there? I don't know. 75 have S. Well, what's 75 minus 45? The 30 and 15?
30.
30. So I put 30 out here. 40 have German, G, and that's 40. That would be 40 minus what?
25.
25. So how many go out here? You know how you could miss this one? You understand all this Venn diagram theory, and then you make a mistake in computation and miss it. And then 70 have French. So 70 minus what? 40? That leaves 30 out here. Now I've got the picture filled in. Now I can answer the questions. What are the questions? A. Did I put them down here? How many are taking 2 languages? Let's see. Those 10? Where did I get 2? Oh, that's the next problem. 19. 19, where'd it go? How many are taking 2 languages? That's A. So what would that be?
55.
10 and 30 and 15. Agreed? What is that? 55? What's the next question? How many are taking Spanish and no other language? Spanish and no other language. 30. Everybody follow what we're doing? Looking at the picture to answer the questions. C. How many are taking Spanish and not French? How many are taking Spanish and not French? Take the French out of there, and what do you get? 30 and 15? 45? Do those answers match for 19? 55, 30, and 45. Okay? Now we're ready for problem 20. And problem 20 says, look at that picture. How many people were surveyed? And I just add up 10, and 2, and 4, and 5, and 3, and 15, and 8. And what did I get? 47 people were surveyed. Because there's nobody in the universe out here that didn't choose A, B, or C. B. How many buy product A but not B? How many people buy product A? 10, 2, 4, and 5. So I have 10. Product A is 10, 2, 4, and 5. But not B. What's in B? 4 and 5. Everybody follow that? So the answer is going to be 10 plus 2. So C, what's it say? How many people buy product B or C but not A? B or C would be 15, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 2. 15, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 2. But not A, that would take out 2, 4, and 5, wouldn't it? 2, 4, and 5. So that leaves 15, 3, and 8. So that'd be 26 people. Okay? D, the last problem. No, it isn't. There's one more in there. E. D, how many buy both products B and C, but not A? B and C. Now, can you see what happens? I put B and C together, and then I put not A, so I put my thumb over A and cover it up. And what numbers are showing? 15, 3, wait a minute, B and C, but not A. B and C. Oh, B and C, not B or C. If it was B or C, it would be, and not A, it'd be 15, 3, and 8. But if it's B and C, then B and C would be 3. Because it has to be and, has to be the intersection. And. The last one, how many do not buy either products B or product C? Do not buy B or C. So I cover up the union of B and C, and I'm left with 10 that only buy A. Okay? Well, there you go. There'll be a test on Wednesday. If you have any questions, stop at problem number 20 for your homework. Chapter 2 exam on Wednesday, February 13th. If you have any questions, stick around and I'll help you for about another 20 minutes before I go to my next class.